You're tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.
Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank. With the century of experience, you know you can count on us for convenient banking and personal service for people you know and trust. With extended hours and online banking for all your financial needs. Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank.
For the best in farming equipment with the service to back it, there is only one Bruna Implement Company, your local Case IH dealer. Since 1947, the staff at Bruna Implement Company works daily to provide the best parts and service when you need it, always dedicated to their customers. Bruna Implement Company has been family-owned for 3 generations, and they know what it takes to be successful as your area Case IH dealer. With locations in Marysville, Washington, Clay Center, Seneca, Hiawatha, and Humboldt, Nebraska. Stop by or give them a call today.
Welcome into this week's edition of the TVL Rundown. As always, joined with Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Sports Spotlight. We're going to jump right into it. Had a huge track meet on Tuesday over at Washington. Nearly every Twin Valley League team was there, including our own Jeff Wurtz, who had a chance to see a lot of our athletes firsthand. So before we get into how some of these teams did, Jeff, I'm going to give you the mic. And, how was that day just seeing all the athletes being able to compete against each other, and who stood out to you there Tuesday afternoon?
Well, you know how it is, Max. When I get these teams together, it's just absolutely incredible to see them all in one place. We get that a little bit more during the track season, but wow, just an impressive day with all of these kids. On the girls' side, especially, we saw some very, and I mean very close races. One only 0.3 of a second off one another. We know these athletes are some of the top in all of the state, not just in the league, all of the state. And when you get big events like that, it's always a really, really good time. The event that I was speaking of, when I said it was a close race, you'd think a close race would be a short race. No, this was in the mile. Emma Waters, freshman from Valley Heights, and Izzy Juneman, sophomore from Hanover. Emma Waters went 5:59.99, and Juneman went 6.34. That's a difference of 0.35 in the mile race. That's not something you hear. That's something you hear, as I said, in the short races. In the mile, that's unheard of.
And we were talking about it off air, and track is so interesting to me because you have those close races, and that shows, the competitiveness that all these athletes have. But then you have some events that some athletes, win some field events by jumps of 3 feet, throws of 6 feet, showing their dominance on that side. And I think you got to see a little bit of everything there Tuesday at that meet.
Definitely. We saw some jumps that were absolutely incredible. Lily Weiser from Onega once again wins the pole vault by 6 inches. Callan Baker from Clifton Clyde wins the discus by almost 5 feet over Caitlin Detweiler from Axtell. And the same on the boys' side. There were so many really good athletes. And you look at second place in a lot of these are competitive to win other meets. They really are. It's just, when these teams get together, when these athletes get together, record books are going to be smashed.
And when you speak about records broken, wanted to highlight 2 of them real quick. We've talked about Landon Schmitz all season long. He rebroke his 110-meter hurdle record by nearly 0.3 of a second there Tuesday. And then the Washington County girls 4x1 team of Macy Gepper, Momo Suzuki, Anna Gakel, and Alyssa Juneman breaks a 16-year-old 4x1 record for Washington County. So, seeing those dominance and school records being broken, and then have to give kudos to team standings. Centralia girls girls win that meet by 38 points, and then Axtell boys continue their dominance, winning the team placing by 67 points over host seed Washington County. And it's just, like we said, incredible what these kids can do, incredible what they've done this season, and kind of hard to believe that they've only got a handful of meets left before we get into TVL and state track here in just a couple weeks.
That's the crazy part. We go through this, and you get in the middle of spring sports, and sometimes it becomes a lot of a labor for these athletes. And then you get toward the end of the season, and you think they're going to be just absolutely exhausted, but they kick it in. It seems like this last 3 weeks or so, they're almost at their best. And you just wonder, how are you doing this? How are you setting meet records this far into the season?
And I think it goes to speak to the competitiveness that not only the kids have between themselves, but, in the school too as well, because everyone sees those school records, and at any given moment, we never know who's going to be the next to break that record. So it's so interesting to see that. As we get through spring sports too as well, want to highlight the baseball and softball standings here. Jeff, I'm going to start on the baseball diamond with you. How's the teams doing so far in Twin Valley League?
Well, one that I did want to highlight was Frankfort. They are now on a 3-game winning streak going into today, 15-3 overall. They've got a game-and-a-half lead over Donovan West, 10-2 in the league. Their only loss non-league actually comes to one of a local school for you, the Marysville Bulldogs. So this isn't a team that's losing to their level anymore. Frankfort is playing very well. Right, as I said, right after them is Donovan West. They're 10-3, 13-4 overall. I mean, really, really good teams at the top of this division. Again, I think we're going to see quite a bit of a competitive sprint toward the end of the season between some of these top teams.
And I wanted to highlight Frankfort. They come in number, I believe, 8 in the last 1A Division I and 2A rankings throughout the state of Kansas. And Coach Drew Hinton there has this team playing very well. And we were talking off air, regional and postseason baseball isn't that far off, but the Wildcats are definitely a team everyone's going to have to keep their eye on, as they have been the last couple seasons. And on the softball diamond, we talked about it early season, not as many teams, but how's everyone doing so far?
The Centralia team, 12-2, they still have yet to be defeated in league. They have played very well, and they're not winning close competitions. They're hitting the ball, and it's really impressive to see the offense, and really the pitching has been a nice lead for them. 12-2 overall. They lead Onega by 3 games in the standings. The Centralia and Frankfort team has really opened themselves up and are going to be a big threat.
Yeah, both of them, it seems like on the east side of the Twin Valley League, baseball tends to reign supreme, and it's glad to see what they're doing now. But obviously, hope for the best and hope they can show the state what Twin Valley League baseball and softball is made of when we get into postseason. Again, it's going to be a busy week next week as well as today, a big golf meet there at Valley Heights today, track at Marysville next week. We're looking golf at Onega, mini baseball and softball games, another big golf meet there on next Thursday at Washington County. Jeff, with everything going on, as always, where can everyone find everything going on inside the Twin Valley League?
Head on over to social media, Facebook and Twitter, search TVL Sports Spotlight. I do have a new podcast up at tvlspotlight.com as well.
And like we said, hard to believe, but next week will be the second to last week of regular season action here for spring sports in the Twin Valley League. So we hope you tune in again next week for another edition of the TVL Rundown.
You've been tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.